everyone. So in this video, I'm just going to talk real quick about how I use my cones as a marker for distance training. So I teach all of my dogs cone work, and what it is I'm basically teaching my dogs to go around the cone in a sense, although I teach all of my directionals with the cone. So what I want my dogs to learn is that when they see the cone, they understand their directionals with it. So when I say out, that means go around the cone. When I say here, it means come to the inside of the cone. Switch means to turn around the cone away from me. And they do all of their foundation training, all of their stuff with a cone. And what this does is, number one, it allows me on winter days like this, which I apologize for all the light behind me, but it's currently snowing outside, so it makes me look very dark. But because it is snowing outside and the weather is awful, I can't do anything outside. So doing a lot of this cone work allows me to work inside in the house. So all of my puppies learn all of this foundation work with the cone. And what I can then do is I can now take this cone, which is something that is now a strong foundation for my dogs, and I can apply it to the agility equipment. So in a nutshell, we're not going to go into a lot of details in this video. I just kind of want to give everybody an overview, and there's been a lot of requests for what I do with the cones and how does that apply to agility. So like I said, number one, I do tons and tons of foundation work with the cones, and my dogs all know that when I say go or get out or whatever my directional cue is that I want them to do, they're going to do that with that cone. So if I use Al here, come here, and I ask her, come here, that's it, well done, and I say go, she knows that she's going to go out and go around the cone. When I go to start using this with equipment, and I'm going to use a hoop as an example, but you can use a jump, you tunnel, just about anything, I'm going to take this cone and I'm going to put my hoop or my jump right alongside it. So imagine here's my cone and then my jump is going to be right where I am right here. So now when I tell Al to go, she's now going to go through that hoop or over that jump with the cone. The cone is something that is a strong marker for her. It's a strong foundation skill. She's been doing this all winter, so when I want to start adding that distance or sequencing my obstacles, I can bring my cones out and I set them next to the equipment. So that now when I say get out, my dog looks ahead, she sees that cone, and she goes, oh, I know this, I know my cone. Out means to go to the outside of the cone, which is where I've now placed a jump or a hoop. So as I start increasing my distance and I want to start really focusing on my distance skills, and Allie is at that point in her career right now where I want to start focusing on really encouraging distance skills. And the reason I say she's at that point in her career is that she has her obstacle skills down, we're sequencing really well, so now I want to start increasing her distance. She's confident, she's happy, and that's the biggest thing with distance, that your dog is confident. So now I'm going to start increasing her distance skills. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to bring these cones out, and we'll take a pinwheel, for example, and I will have a pinwheel of jumps or hoops, and there will be a cone next to each one. So when I say out, or whatever cue I'm using for where I am on the pinwheel, she knows how to apply that with the cone. So now my dog now understands, there's my cone, I go out around my cone, and she has such a strong, positive confidence with that cone that when I apply it to the jumps and the hoops, she now has that same confidence working with the equipment. I also bring my equipment in when I'm first starting to really sequence and I want to teach my dogs good obstacle focus, good commitment. I will have, let's say that same pinwheel again, I will have my first jump or hoop here, and my second jump or hoop is maybe only 10 feet away. So that my dogs are getting instant success. That is the biggest thing for me, is I want my obstacles to be a little close in the beginning so that as I'm sequencing with them, it's not 20 feet to the next piece of equipment, which a lot can happen in 20 feet. I don't want her to spin and look at me or come in. I want her to do those two jumps and have instant reward, instant success. And then I can start slowly, bringing them out into the distance that I'm looking for. I want my dogs to be confident and happy, and how I do that when I want to start introducing my distance skills is I use cones and I bring that equipment in. And my dogs are extremely strong with their cone work before I ever think about bringing it for the equipment. And not only for distance training, you can use these same cones for discrimination training. If you have a contact in a tunnel, I usually put about 3 cones in between my tunnel and my contact, so that when I say out tunnel, they understand it means to go the outside of the cones, which puts them in the out tunnel. Or if I say here, walk it, they know that that here means to come to the inside of the cones, and they do it here, walk it. So I hope that answers some questions I've been getting about what my cone work is, why should we do cone work, and how do I apply that to agility. I will be probably, after the new year, I will start getting some blog series up that will talk about kind of how I use the cones as markers, and it'll show some more diagrams and things like that. And I will attach a diagram in the comments below on this video that shows what we just talked about with the pinwheel and where I place the cones in that pinwheel, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. All right, thanks everyone for watching.